Everyone. Again, thank you so much for having us, and it's a great honor to be here today. So my name is Azhar Nalakath, and I'll be sharing our work titled Remote Project Management in the Metaverse using BIM and Extended Reality. So I'm here representing my co-authors. Together, we have been exploring how BIM and Extended Reality, or XR, can support remote project management and also open up new possibilities for education and training in digital environments. So before I go into the results of study, I'll just give you a short introduction about who we are. So WeLab is a smart engineering, technology, and energy consultancy based in Redcar in the northeast of England. We were established in 2020 with a clear vision of the idea was to commercialize academic research. Since then, we have grown rapidly and built expertise across a wide range of areas. Now, over the years, we have had the privilege of collaborating with a number of organizations and universities across the world. And that has helped us deliver innovative projects combining academic research and real application. So for today, as I'll be talking about the application of VR in remote project management, remote learning and training, I just want to highlight two of our Innovate UK funded projects, Safe Site and Safe Extend, where we're working on combining artificial intelligence and VR for training workers in offshore and construction industry respectively. So let's start by giving a bit of context to this research and where the construction industry finds itself today. So globally, speaking globally, construction is huge. Like it employs 7% of world's working age population, and that makes it one of the biggest sectors of economy. And that's the same case in Serbia as well. For example, the construction sector in Serbia employs around 186,000 people. That's about 8% of total employment. And so it's a really important part of each economy of each and every country. But despite that size, the industry has been very slow to innovate. Well, we have other industries like manufacturing, finance, healthcare. So all of those have gone through like a full-scale digital transformation, but construction still lags behind. So then when the COVID-19 came, we all know that the way we work has completely changed. So like all the other teams, construction team also had to move to remote and hybrid work. All the stakeholders like project managers, engineers, architects, all of them had to suddenly collaborate, move to through entirely digital channels. I could say in some ways, this worked really well. Like projects have been continued, tasks were delivered, teams showed that they could adapt. But this also revealed a huge gap. Collaborations, even today, even now, relies mostly on emails, online meetings, and video calls. Well, yes, these tools are great. It keep people connected, but they can't replicate that richness, that feel you get when you have a face-to-face interaction. For example, for now, I'm talking to you all through a Zoom call, but it's not quite the same as in-person energy that you might have gotten with the amazing presentations earlier today and yesterday. So this is where immersive technologies come in, like extended reality or XR, as explained by our keynote speaker yesterday in the session, Educational XR. So XR combines virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. So these tools give team a chance to step into that shared digital space, communicate with each other, interact with models, or do all of this as if they were physically present. Now, that brings us to the big question behind our work. Can a persistent, immersive, collaborative digital space, can this be used to manage construction projects remotely? Or can it allow teams to review designs, resolve conflicts, and coordinate in real time, no matter where they are. And even more importantly, can these tools help people learn in a much more effective way? So these questions become the foundation of our research, and it's what we'll be exploring within this presentation. So in our research, we looked at two case studies to see how BIM and XR could actually support remote collaboration. So the first one, what you see here is the student life building at Teesside University in the UK. It's a very modern building. I could say it looks nice. It has a big glass facade, and it has all the nice things and complex things to make it a really good candidate for the immersive collaboration test. Now, for us, we didn't actually have access to the original BIM file. So what we did was build a replica in Autodesk Revit using plans, photographs, and measurements that were available. And then we developed the model, optimized it for VR, and put it in a VR headset. Now, the second case was very different because since we had the option to run any BIM model through platform, we also used a 3D model of a cricket stadium. Now, for the collaboration framework, for this part of the research, as you can see, we needed a way to actually bring people together, to sit down, look at the models, collaborate, and do all the stuff, even though everyone is in different places. For this, we used VR headsets along with virtual reality workroom. So workrooms is basically a virtual meeting space. You will see more of that in the coming slides. So in our framework, you are in a shared VR boardroom. You will have sitting people around you. Now, not everyone has to be in VR. Some people join with VR headsets, while others connected to laptops and tablets. So inside the workroom, we could do things like model analysis, have discussion about things, do progress check, do presentations, anything that you want. And you have tools like a whiteboard, hand gestures. You could just point things out, do something quickly. And interestingly, we also have spatial audio. So when someone's avatar is sitting next to you, which we will also see in the next slide, the voice actually came from that direction. So these are small things, but it actually make conversation like feel more natural. So the framework was really about creating a shared virtual boardroom, a place where like people can meet, review the model, collaborate, and do all this stuff, even though they weren't physically in the same place. Now, here we can see the workroom we used. So we set this up as a simulated project management meeting. Like we have a project manager, an architect, engineer, a client, everyone in the same room together. Some participants, as I mentioned earlier, joined using Metaverse headsets. Others were connected through laptops or tablets. So that's what you see here. These people join through laptops, while the avatars you see here on the screen represent those who join VR. So, and also these avatars are actually customizable, so they can be made to resemble the person's appearance. And that kind of helps you with a bit of recognition and feeling the presence of the person inside the meeting room. Now, one of the key features in the Horizon workroom is the ability to share your model. So in the screen, you can see that we have loaded the BIM model directly onto the screen. That means everyone in the session, like whether they're in the VR or just using a laptop, so everyone could see the same model at the same time. Now, the project manager could like spin the model around, zoom in on some detail, highlight some specific areas or something like that. So all these, what we felt was for us, it kept the discussion more focused rather than being described in something over text. Another really useful feature was the ability to annotate directly on the shared screen. So during the session, someone could suggest a change and then mark it up right there in the workroom. Now, this is where it was quite interesting for me, because in VR, it's not just share the screen. You can actually see what other avatars are doing. Like So if someone was annotating or pointing at a model, you would see that their avatar's hand moving around. So from our experience, that made it feel much more immersive and interactive when we compared that to a flat video call. Now, one of the fun thing about Workroom is that it shows how people are present, their presence and absence. Like you can actually tell if someone has disconnected and moved away from their device. So as you can see here, these avatars looks like they have fallen asleep. So, but in fact, the person had either gone away or moved from the desk or lost connection, or maybe they're really sleeping. So it's a small thing, but it adds a little bit of realism. So just like in a real meeting, you see, you can know who's paying attention and who's not. Now, after running these sessions, we started to see some really clear outcomes. So the first one was the spatial awareness. So normally in 2D drawings, or even when you're using a 3D model on laptop screen, it's quite hard, like especially for clients and all, to really understand the scale of the space. But in VR, it gave people a much clearer sense of layout and proportion. And this is not just our observation. It is reported that people were 275% more confident in their decision after being trained in VR compared to traditional methods. So that's a massive difference in clarity. The second one is called about collaboration. So we have the real-time avatar, the spatial audio, the annotation tool. So all the combination of all these tools, it felt much closer to being in the same room. So everyone could see who's speaking, who's pointing, who's annotating, who's not doing anything. So this all brings us to like engagement. Like participants were much more focused compared to a standard video call. Like all the tools, the combination of all the tools, it helped people to be more present rather than being passive in a meeting. So sustainability. That obviously that's like if you can have effective meetings in remotely, that means you can cut down on travel. Obviously that means cut on cost. So this directly support net zero goals, and it's a win for both the environment and project budgets. Of course, it's not all positive. We have also had some challenges, like a few people found the headset uncomfortable over long periods of time. Some had connection issues. And for many out there who are using the VR for first time, there's definitely a learning curve. So latency, comfort, and learning curve, onboarding issues. So these are things that still need to be worked on. So as we come to an end, what I'd really like to emphasize is, from what we have shown here, it's just like a starting point. So the workroom experiment gave us a taste of what's possible. But the real potential, it goes much further, because we have been exploring more advanced application of VR. For example, taking real site scans and turning them into training environments. We have also been running design reviews directly inside BIM models. And so it's about what we say, it's about creating a new way of working and learning remotely, ways that are like more collaborative, more visual, and more engaging for everyone. And of course, there is still more work to do. These tools need to be more made easier to access and better integrated with the everyday systems. So from our perspective, the conclusion is that this is the path forward. Like these technologies will mature and they can reshape how we manage teams remotely, how we train remotely, and how we learn remotely. So looking ahead, the future is in training. So we have already started with the VR-based training in construction and offshore, but we are also looking to expand to sector like healthcare, underwater drone navigation, and training for high-risk situations. For example, the radiation-based material testing, that's something we're looking into, like training people for that so people can learn. So that's a really risky and expensive course. So in VR, we can complement it by, learners can do simulate it safely, repeat it as many times as needed, and build confidence without any risks associated with that. So for us, the story is about how we can use VR that can create a safer and more effective learning experience across industries. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I'd like to thank you all for your time and attention. And these are our YouTube QR code is for YouTube channel. You can see really interesting products of ours, videos and stuff. So if you could support, that would be great. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Azhar.
Yeah.
Thank you, Azhar. Any questions for our audience? Okay, we have a question.
Yes, thank you for a very valuable presentation. I just have a question. You said your platform has the combination of different tools and it makes a much greater immersive experience when it comes to project management and general meetings and so forth. So it shouldn't be a meeting such as this and online, which is just as we can just see and hear each other and eventually share a screen. My question is, out of all those individual components, what component, by your opinion, was the one that made the difference? Which, without which you cannot now go without it. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Yes, that's a really interesting one, and I can tell you in the current perspective, the one feature that strikes me most is the spatial audio. Like in here, we are sitting, you are sitting, I can see you sitting over there, but I can't really know how far you are sitting away from me or where you are, which direction you are. But if we are in a virtual workroom, the best thing is like if you are sitting far away, I could understand that sense, when you hear something, when you're instead of this flat audio, that really gives you a sense of presence, that like you are here. So I would say that is one of the best feature when that comes to collaboration, effective communication, that I personally felt like. Also, we have been exploring a much more advanced version of this. So in different project, what we did was we put ourselves inside a building that we created, and that was the best thing. Like people could walk away and you could hear them where they are and you could find them. So that was the best feature that I personally feel like that's one thing that I can't go without.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Azhar. Any other question? No, okay. Thank you one more time for your presentation.
Thank you.
We have to continue now.
Okay.
Our next